Got it.
All right. Hello, this podcast takes a glimpse into the lives of women. Despite their life's obstacles and challenges, they have managed to knock down barriers and succeed in their chosen careers in their life. And today, I have the pleasure of having the Honorable Judge Tanya Wilson in the building today. How you doing, Miss Tanya?
I am well. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on this Sunday morning or afternoon. See, my times are messed up.
So you're feeling good today, right? You're feeling good today.
I am. This has been a great day. Can't complain.
Well, I want my listeners to know who you are. And so we'll start off by, I always ask this, what is one thing that is unique about you that nobody would know?
What's unique about me? There's a couple of things when I talk to people while I am campaigning. Usually I tell them that being a lawyer is my second career. My first career, I was a merchandiser with pennies. So I would buy clothes. And yeah, a lot of people don't know that. I did that for about 6 years. The week after I graduated, undergraduate from Langston University, the Langston University, I moved to Midland, Texas, way out in the West Texas Panhandle, and bought clothes for pennies and worked out there. So that's a little fun fact about me.
You are clothing merchandiser.
Yes, I was. I bought clothes for several departments in that region. And so if you walked into a penny store, then more than likely I bought the clothing for that area. And also makeup. And, you know, I don't know anything about makeup. So that was a fun department to learn.
So you went from merchandising. What was the turning point to go into the legal system?
Oh, I always knew I was going to be an attorney. I always knew. I just needed a break after undergraduate, because after going from high school to undergraduate, I was like, I need a break. It did not intend to be, originally it was planned to be a 6-year break, but you know, life happens. God throws you a curveball that you weren't expecting and you roll with it. And I said, okay, I'm still going to be a lawyer. I knew I wanted to do that. So I moved back to Tulsa in 2000 and went to TU Law School.
TU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So at what age did you know? What was the thing that drew you into wanting to be a lawyer in the first place? Experience, something like that, someone in your family?
No, you know, I never knew lawyers growing up. Mm-hmm. Most of the people I knew were educators, especially not only, you know, we come from a lot of great educators here in Tulsa, but a lot of them were in my church. The only lawyer I knew of per se was Judge Harris at the time. But, you know, I'm a history buff. So I was reading about the great lawyers of our era. And it was like, I think this is something that I want to do. I want to help people. I want to, you know, serve people and see more of us in the legal community representing us. At least that's what I thought.
Okay.
And then after a while, that kind of changed to where, believe it or not, I am not a fan of speaking in public. I don't like it at all. So I said, okay. Maybe I just won't go into the courtroom. Maybe I will represent companies or something. And then again, life finds a way to tell you something different.
Yeah, more in you.
Yes. Yes, God was like, you're not sitting in an office doing nothing.
So right now you are special judge. What is a special judge?
A special judge, Tulsa has special judges and district judges. Special judges, we have the ability to do everything but conduct jury trials. Right now, I'm assigned to the criminal division, and I oversee preliminary hearings and also the bond docket. So when an individual is arrested, they come before me on the bond docket to get a bond. And then they come before me for a preliminary hearing to see if there's enough evidence on their case to go forward to district court, to where they could ultimately have a jury trial or enter in some kind of a program like Women in Recovery, drug court, the men's program. Those are the things that I overhear.
So how is that different? You were in district attorney's office for a while, correct?
Yes. I was a prosecutor. I started as a prosecutor in 2002.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So which area do you like the best?
Oh, I love being a judge. I do. I love being a judge. It is a great job. The only thing I miss about being a trial attorney is actually conducting trials, because I did enjoy that, but I enjoy being a judge. It is a great feeling to, even in my limited role, when people do come before me and want to either plead guilty on a program, understand that they want to work on any like substance abuse issues that they have. It feels good to be able to help them in that area. It also feels good to know that somebody who came before me, if I hear their case and I'm like, there's just not enough evidence. There's just not enough. And to see, somebody who's like, I did not do this. I really didn't do this. And to be able to say, okay, based on the evidence, the case is dismissed. So those are, I love that in a roundabout way that I am ultimately helping people.
Wonderful. That's the biggest thing, is making sure people are getting a fair shake at it. I'm sure exactly. We all know that people of color for a long time didn't get that opportunity. And that makes me want to shift into the representation that you talked about. So here recently in this great nation of ours, they nominated Ketanji Brown Jackson as the first Black woman Supreme Court judge. Yes. How did that make you feel?
Well, I was in my office all week, like I believe everybody else, watching the confirmation hearings. And I'm watching it and I'm like, this woman is phenomenal. First of all, just to hear her background and to see her parents in the background and her children and her husband, and just to see how much she went through to be confirmed. It was, I'm sure it was like I was like, this is a lot of intensity that we're witnessing. And sometimes I got mad, got angry. I'm like, there's no way that you can't see that this woman is more than qualified. Just say that she goes on and let's be done. So when it finally came down to the vote, I mean, I was in my office clapping, crying. And I'm sure people thought I was crazy, but I really did not care, because I am the only person of color in my area. So while people say they can understand or say they understand how great of a moment it was, they couldn't understand for me how much of a moment that was. And I mean, like I said, I cried, I clapped, I was like, yes. So it gave me motivation, because who would have known that a week later I would have decided to run for district judge here in Tulsa. And to know that I'm trying to run for a judgeship that represents all of Tulsa County is daunting, to say the least. And it just gave me hope. It gave me hope that, brown girl with braids, I'll be all right. I'll be all right.
That's the message that I want to convey to women of color, to people who've always felt less than, who haven't seen that representation. Is why I wanted to start this podcast, is for people to look at the Tanya Wilsons, Judge Tanya Wilsons of our time, and say, I can do that. They may not know your story. They may not know your your journey, but they see you and they know it had to take some work. And for you, I commend you for putting in all the work and the effort and having the passion to want to go out and even be greater, because now you even have something else to shoot for that it may have not even been on your radar. Who knows? You might be the second.
Yeah. I mean, and that was the funny thing about this, because as a special judge, I mean, I was appointed by the district judges. So this is basically an appointment for life. Unless I get fired and unless I retire, I don't have to run for re-election. I don't have to do anything. It's being a special judge, you are there until you decide you don't want to be. And that was one of the things that even my family looked at me like, well, why would you give that up for, to run for a position that you might not even get elected for, and then you have to run for every 4 years? I'm like, there's a thing, yeah, you can be comfortable in your position. And yes, I was comfortable. I am comfortable, but something inside me would have regretted it later if I didn't at least try. If I didn't, at least say, I want to see myself on that district judge list.
Wonderful. That brings me to this. What are some obstacles or times that you had to really show resilience to moving toward those things that you wanted in your life, that you were going for, those goals that you were headed for, that the obstacles came and you're just like, I don't know if I can do this, but that was that thing inside of you that said, I got to keep going?
Well, you and I know each other, so I don't know how personal you want to get into this, but I think one of my first major obstacles, again, which was one of the reasons for my delay into going into law school, is that when I first applied to go to law school in 96, 97, I found out I was pregnant, and I was a single mom. And so I delayed it for a little while. And, even though I was about 25 or 26, there were people who were discouraging and telling me that I would never achieve my goal of becoming an attorney because I was now a single mom, as if, it was something wrong or something to be ashamed of. So, I am a product of my parents, I guess to say. And so I was like, I'm going to prove you people wrong. I'm going to show that not only am I going to do it, I'm going to be successful at it. And so I did it. I was like, nobody's going to tell me that I can't achieve my dream. I can't achieve my goal. It made me realize along that journey that it's not meant for some people to ride with you on their ride.
Oh.
Because you have to remember, it's not their dream, it's yours. It's not their goal, it's yours. So if they don't understand it, if they don't, believe in it, that's okay. It's not theirs. And that's that was my first obstacle, is to say, I'm still going to achieve my dream in spite of what some others thought was a drawback. I think my other obstacle was becoming a prosecutor. Some people weren't used to seeing Black prosecutors in Tulsa. So I, at one point, was, asked if I was a paralegal. At one point, I was even asked if I was a defendant. So overcoming that mindset that, no, I belong at this table. I'm running this courtroom, and your client is, going to prison because of what they've done.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That is amazing to be in that situation, and you're having to restrain yourself from probably something you probably else you wanted to say, but to show class and grace and that I belong here and have really put in the work to do those things. You are to be commended. And I, like you said, we've known each other, and you're like my little sister. I've always called you my little sister. And just know that even when you had Taylor, your daughter, you was extended family, so we kept her, and it was like you never missed a beat. So I didn't know that those things were going on with you because you never missed a beat. It was about scheduling with mom. If it was a late thing, we were, it's about a community to make sure you did what you need to do. You were spearheading it and you had those support system around you and you kept going. And that was really something to see. So I've known you for a very long time. And to hear that now, I would have never known. And so
God is amazing. I mean, he places, I have a great, like you say, I have a big family, you know that. But to place people in your lives, your mom opened the daycare a year or so before Taylor was born. So that was like destiny for her to just move on in there and then move into your daycare. You're right. So that most people didn't understand that this was a struggle that I was dealing with because I had people in my life, I didn't miss a beat. I didn't, have that outwardly struggle that people were able to see.
And so your parents have been your biggest cheerleaders, would you say?
Oh man. My parents, especially my mom, I tell my mom she's my biggest cheerleader, but also my biggest critic. She will correct me in a minute, but it's all done out of love, so I don't worry about it. My dad, when I ran before, I get when I talk about my dad. When I ran before in 2014, just to see the pure pride and joy on his face while we were running that campaign. And, he passed in 2015. So to not have him here for this journey, it's rough. It's rough. But, I think about him. I know he's here. I know he's in my ear. Telling me, don't you let those people get you down. You're a Wilson. You're going to do this.
You're a Wilson. That's for sure. So looking at you and you telling us about your journey, what would be some advice that you would give to a younger you?
Oh, wow. A younger me. Probably I would want to believe in myself more. I project confidence that I don't really always have. And I noticed to mask it more when I had my daughter, because I couldn't tell her, you have a phenomenal journey and you can be this phenomenal person, but also struggling with my inner demons. I didn't want to project that on her. So it would be to have more confidence, to have more assertiveness. I should have, when I knew that this was something that I wanted to do and knew that I was actually going to start the journey, I should have been more competitive as far as going to law school, where I wanted to go to law school, trying to do better on tests, trying to find more scholarships, finding a mentor, which would have been a huge help for me in my journey. So confidence, being more assertive, and just doing more for my own personal growth than what I did.
So when you say finding a mentor, because you were swimming in a big pond and you were a small fish, would you say that was that not really available to you, or it was hard to even seek out when you were looking possibly?
Our parents didn't always necessarily know the resources of what we needed and how to get us those resources. So, and I just didn't know. So now that I do know, and now that I understand the importance of it, I try to give back to young attorneys that want to come into the profession. I am an adjunct professor at TU.
Oh, okay.
And I even tell my students, after you graduate my class, that doesn't necessarily mean our communication or our time together has to end. So I still get students continuing to call me or write me and asking for help or assistance. I get people who want to see what the criminal justice system is like and see if this is something that they really want to do. So I'm like, yeah, come on up. Come, you can shadow us, you can sit with us and see, because I believe in, again, I know that there are many attorneys that we see on the civil rights side, on the defense side, but we don't see many of us on the prosecutorial side.
Right.
And there's various factors for that, but I encourage people, come see if this is something that you want to do. It may not be the journey that you thought you wanted to take, but trust me, it's an interesting journey. You get trial experience, you get experience talking to people. So it's a good journey.
Of course, you got to talk. You got to talk to me if nobody else.
Yeah.
That is amazing, Tanya. I am just honored and so proud of you and the things that you have accomplished. And I was going to ask you, how do you give back? But you already told me you make yourself accessible to people who want to maneuver in that arena or who want to try it out. And the biggest thing is having someone that you can touch and feel and say, hey, come on, and it not be, you feel like you're putting somebody out, but you are welcoming people to, hey, come on, do this, because we need that representation. We need more people to be willing to help other people along the way, and finding mentors and people like yourself. That is definitely an awesome thing that you are doing. And, I've known you a long time, like I said, but your heart has always been there. So you becoming honorable judge, it is no surprise to me. It's not a surprise to me at all. And you are to be commended for all the hard work that you are doing. And what is, last question. So what are some things that you now have on your list of things to do for life as far as in the judicial system?
Oh, wow. I haven't thought about that. Right now, I'm so focused on running to become a district judge. I would like to see, like I said, more programs to get into the schools to help children become attorneys and not believe or think that it is such a daunting obstacle that there's just nothing that you can ever do about it. So I would probably spend more time going back into high school level, because I've been speaking to some high school students since I've started running, and they're looking at me like, you're a judge? I can be a judge. I'm like, yeah, you can be a judge. It can happen. So I would probably, again, give back more. I would like to see more programs in the judicial system, because does everybody need to go to prison? No. Are there some instances that, are some crimes so severe? Yes. But, a lot of crimes are committed by individuals because of systematic issues that have occurred in their lives. So my passion, of course, is children. I've prosecuted crimes against children's cases most of my career. So I would do a lot more with the juvenile system to stop that pipeline from the juvenile division automatically into the prison system. Our children who are in the Department of Human Services custody, try to work more with those programs to help children stay in their homes, but in healthy homes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Healthy homes. That is a big thing right there. Healthy homes, not just in the homes, but healthy homes. Yeah. So
because it was surprising to me when I first started this, I just know my experience. I know, my family, I know your family. I thought, we were the norm. You just had healthy, loving families. So when I got into the judicial system or into being a prosecutor, and I realized that there were children out there who, don't have those basic needs, who don't, sometimes hear even somebody tell them, I love you. I'm like, what? Because that wasn't my reality. It's not my reality. So that was sobering sight.
And so you are really putting yourself in the gap that is really needed for our society and for families and for women of color to see you do your thing, is what I'm gonna say. Because, you know, we don't know all the things that, again, that you go through or that you've been through in order to get there. But you're right, it does seem like it's such a daunting task or avenue that we cannot pursue. And so you don't go down that route. You never figure that is an option for you. And so for you to keep on going and even going higher with, you know, with our new Supreme Court judge being a Black woman and that inspiring you, you're going to inspire other people as well. And you, again, you are to be commended. And starting this podcast, I know a lot of people who just don't do because they don't see. And so we get to see you operating and moving the way you move. And so, Miss Honorable Judge Tanya Wilson, and you know, I have to
I'm
full title.
Tanya. I'm
Honorable
Tanya. You don't know somebody.
I love saying that though. I mean, how many opportunities do I get this call? You know, somebody looks like me, the Honorable Judge Tanya Wilson. And so it's my honor to say those words to you with your beautiful self and your family. And I just appreciate you taking the time out your busy schedule to come and talk with me today and to give us a little insight about who you are and how you have achieved the things that you have, so your life can be an inspiration to other people, Tanya.
You know, always, you call, I'm gonna come, because the Watkins family is my family. So.
Hey, well, I appreciate you again. You keep on going, keep going higher and higher. That's an Elaine statement. Keep going higher and higher, and reach your destiny, and other people will follow behind you because you have set the pace. And so again, I appreciate you, and God bless.
Thank you. Love you. Have a good day.